viewers, and welcome to BBC World News with me, Sheryl Nadia. And today, we invite you to join us as we embark on an in-depth exploration of the intricate and ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Viewers, the conflict between Russia and Ukraine is rooted in deep historical, political, and ethnic factors. The dissolution of the Soviet Union left newly independent states like Ukraine grappling with redefining their national identity while managing relations with both Russia and the West. Tensions escalated significantly in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea, drawing widespread international condemnation and severe economic sanctions. Russia's subsequent support for separatist movements in eastern Ukraine further exacerbated violence and instability. The cultural and linguistic divisions within Ukraine, particularly its significant Russian-speaking population in the east, have compounded the complexity of the conflict. Now viewers, let's delve into the key factors contributing to the causes of this war. Psychological, biological, and cultural elements all play significant roles. Freudian theories highlight ingrained human aggression, while cultural theories emphasize identity, language, and religion. Critical in Ukraine's conflict between Russian-speaking populations and those favoring closer ties with the West. Nationalism also fuels tensions as state-seeking aspirations and minority oppression often led to territorial disputes and hegemonic ambitions. From a rationalist perspective, war is viewed as a strategic calculation where political actors weigh costs and benefits. Theories like Joy Mershaber and Robert Keohane argue that conflicts arise when perceived benefits outweigh costs. In Ukraine, Russia's actions illustrate strategic calculations aimed at enhancing geopolitical influence and securing borders. Rationalist theories also address issues like misperceptions and the security dilemma, exacerbated by the anarchic nature of the international system, which complicates negotiations and peace efforts. And today, viewers, we provide a comprehensive view of this conflict through live reports and expert analysis. Now, let's turn to our filed reporter for first-hand insights into the current situation.
Thank you, Sheryl. I'm Kylian Drouillot reporting from Kharkiv, and here in the city we can hear the bomb exploding at every minute and even during the night. So it's really hard for the local population with fights between Russian forces and Ukrainian forces and a lot of people who died from the bombardment. So here the life is really hard and people have to find supplies like food and water, but it's really hard for them with the bombardment, and also because Russian forces took the biggest region in Ukraine that were producing the most food in the country. So even the humanitarian organization have a hard time going there giving supply to the local population because they can't go there because of the bombardment also. And it caused also a lot of economic problems, so people there don't have any more money to supply themselves. And with what's happening here in the city and in Ukraine in general, we can see in a political level that the geopolitical situation in Europe is being reshaped with new alliances being created, and every country in Europe choosing their side. So for example, the Western countries are mostly allied with Ukraine, but you can see that some countries like Serbia or Belarus are good allies to Russia. So there is a new geopolitical situation in Europe, and I think it's really hard. You can feel also in the city that the war is going to continue for a long time because currently the city is being besieged, but there is still some supplies coming in, so we'll see what will happen in the future. But anyway, we'll see how it will happen in the future with our specialist Sia. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kylian, for the insightful explanation. Joining us now is Mr. Shah, an esteemed expert on Eastern European politics. Welcome, Mr. Shah. Given the complexity of this conflict, what potential solutions can you propose?
Okay, thank you very much, Cheryl, for the opportunities. When we talk about conflict in Ukraine, we need to understand that there is nuance. There are a lot of nuance to be made when it comes to addressing or understanding the issue, which needs to be addressed later, both in short term and long term. First of all, when we are talking about short term solution or short term end goal of the conflict, I believe that ceasefire will be a very good starting point. In the sense that to end this conflict, we need to first limit the number of violence, the number of victims, casualties, etc., etc., and also giving time for any other bodies who want to deliver aid, both inside Ukraine or to Russia or wherever else where there is victim, there is a fallout of this war. In the ceasefire period, there should be numerous diplomatic efforts that should also be intensified in that period between both countries, between Russia and NATO, between Ukraine and Russia and other parties which might be involved in this conflict. In which we cannot forget that there is numerous international bodies who also operates in the region, such as the United Nations, the Eurasian Economic Union, etc., which could also be involved and should be involved in the process. But when it comes to the long term, we need to address the underlying issues that makes the war happens in the first place. We need to address the long term things that makes both sides thinks that the war should happen or this is in some way a thing. We need to balance between the autonomy of Eastern Ukraine, like the Donbas region, and to some extent the Crimea region, while also maintaining Ukrainian sovereignty over their territory. This is such a weird and striking, contrasting things to say. But one thing that need to be mentioned is there is indeed like a movement in there to have autonomy in the Eastern Ukraine region and the Crimea region. Is it because of Russia? Is it because of people there wanted to have independence? That's another story that need to be addressed later on. But we need to balance autonomy for Eastern Ukraine and Ukrainian sovereignty over their territory, which includes those parts in the Eastern Ukraine. But in the other hand, we know that a lot of Western nations, especially such as NATO nation, the European Union, United States, are giving Russia sanctions. One thing that I keep noticing is how Russia are able to alleviate the sanction by bypassing the sanction itself, such as trading with Kazakhstan or selling their stuff, selling their coal for cheap to China, which therefore prove that sanction is not actually that effective. So I propose that we should also give quote-unquote incentive for Russia to stop or at least limit their engagement in the region so that we could foster more peaceful approach on how to end conflict in itself. And when it comes to the transitional period, let's say ceasefire has been reached, we have a diplomatic effort by both sides to have peace in that area. Peacekeeper, whoever they are, must play a big role in the security and trust building process between both states and both parties. Post-war economic cooperation, cultural exchange, people going places in both regions, something that could foster connection between them, because this is a war and both sides hate each other, and that's a fact. And if the war ends, we need to also address that hatred so that we could also prevent another war in the future. Theoretical frameworks such as conflict resolution and peace building theory suggest that sustainable peace is achievable through solution that is both addressing the immediate events itself, which is the war and invasion, and a more broader and deeper root causes with various possible steps, such as political reform, economical reform, social relations, etc., etc., etc. In which one thing to note from all this is that we should involve civil society, people from both sides, people from Ukraine, people from Russia, other people from around the region and around the world who are concerned with this issue must also be involved in the process. And hopefully by that we can at least foster peace between people and therefore will extend to be a peace between states. Maybe that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Shah, for your profound insights. It is clear that achieving peace in the Russia-Ukraine conflict will require a multifaceted approach, addressing both the immediate humanitarian crisis and the deeper political and social issues at play. The international community has a crucial role to play in supporting efforts towards a sustainable and just resolution. As we continue to monitor this evolving situation, it is imperative to remain informed and engaged. The path to peace is never easy, but with concerted effort and international cooperation, it is within reach. Thank you for joining us tonight on BBC World News. Stay informed and stay safe. Good night.